Hi, I'm James Quillian. I'm an economist. I write a blog called Fantasy Free Economics. At Fantasy Free Economics, I explain today's most complex and trying issues in just a few sentences. Since economics and politics are codependent, I help folks understand what is going on around the world politically also. Since economics is all about decision making, I also teach people principles of personal economics. Hence the name of this video, How Not to Be a Sucker. So, what is it exactly that makes a person a sucker? If you look at the Webster Dictionary page, the word sucker is used in a lot of different ways. Down the list, one of the meanings is a person easily cheated or deceived. So let's see if there aren't some reasons why one person is more likely to be deceived than another. It may be that you have personality characteristics that leave you more trusting than other people. If that is the case, that is hard to change. Personality characteristics are present only in the mammal and reptilian brains. That is fortunate because we all have a larger brain. And the larger brain can change what the lower brains will otherwise have us do without thinking. Knowing why you are frequently a sucker can increase your level of awareness. With more awareness, the larger part of the brain will kick in. With that accomplished, your animal brain will adjust its knowledge base, and you will be forever less vulnerable. We already know that nature may have given you a personality that leaves you vulnerable to others with more predator-type personalities. The larger brain actually can override the smaller animal brain. So, what makes a person vulnerable to being a sucker? Human beings naturally see themselves as being truly special, unique entities. Of course, there are many billions of people around the world who have the same notion of being special. The truth is that none of us are special at all. Feeling special in most ways is harmless. Harm becomes because we assume others see us as special just like we see ourselves. They don't. Strangers see you as a resource. Often people you are close to see you as a resource also. It is really hard to take advantage of someone who is genuinely humble. Now, whose approval do you need? Who manages your self-esteem? Is it the opinion others have of you that you depend on to keep your self-esteem elevated? When your self-esteem depends on others' opinions of you, you are their slave. You will do anything they want you to do because they determine how you feel about yourself. Generally, when you need someone else's approval, you are vulnerable to being fleeced or being made into a sucker. Early in life, everyone gets shaped by life's dominance and subservience process. Usually, children learn from their peers who has dominating skills and who is better off seeking out beneficial ways to submit. This is all figured out in kindergarten. Children who are rejected early in life feel inadequate for their entire lives. Out of rejection comes an emptiness, and this causes folks to seek the approval of others as long as they live. Those by whom you wish to be accepted are likely to see you as a resource. What are signs of needing approval in a general way? The most likely approval seekers are those who wear attire with a celebrity's name on it. Wearing or buying products with an athlete or some celebrity's endorsement is a telltale sign of being an approval seeker. Some folks are highly skilled at manipulating others into needing their approval. The whole industry of branding is based on charging more for products to people who look up to a certain person. President Trump is highly skilled at manipulating others into needing his approval. I will mention one more catalyst to becoming a sucker. Actually, the biggest reason a person ends up being a sucker is their own personal dishonesty. W.C. Fields once said in a movie that you can't cheat an honest man. The most vulnerable to being made into a sucker are people whose intentions are less honorable to start out with. Wanting what cannot be gained through honesty leaves you vulnerable. One of the classic methods of suckering another person into a bad deal is to start by offering something for nothing or just at an unbelievably good price. So, okay, I said 3, but I thought of another one. States of greed, or just wanting more than life can offer you, leave you vulnerable. Wanting to believe is highly destructive. If you want a lie to be true, you are very likely to believe it. I coined a saying a few years ago: when a lie is told, there are generally 2 guilty parties. There is the liar, of course. Then there's the one for whom the truth is not good enough. One good reason for going fantasy free is so that you are never the one for whom the truth is not good enough. If you believe that you are a sucker and want to be different, then you must go through personal changes. If you are the one who is being cheated, you might wonder why it is you who has to change. Well, the least effective method of self-improvement is to try to change others. And I'd like to give credit to Robert Conklin for this idea. This is something he pointed out in one of his books years ago. There are countless initiatives ongoing right now to change others. Organized efforts to change others have been ongoing for all of history. I don't know that any attempt has ever been successful. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could get others to change and be like we want them to be? Perhaps it would be great, but it's a waste of time to try. The odds of getting other people to behave as you wish they would are close to 0. Changing yourself is stressful. In the beginning, there can be anxiety and unhappiness. Changing yourself for the better is at least as hard as losing weight or breaking a habit. As far as being a sucker is concerned, once the transition is made, though, it's generally worth it. So there you have it. How not to be a sucker. But the message in the school system, is that they try to educate or attempt to educate with passive learning. And really accomplishing things requires work and self-denial. So learning not to be a sucker, like any personal change, requires utilizing principles of deferred gratification. Accept some inconvenience today in order to have a better life tomorrow. And I do thank you for watching. I'm James Quillian.